Welcome to Inside Santa Cruz. I'm Joyce Anderson, and we're here at the Coconut Grove, and the Red Cross of Santa Cruz County is celebrating the red. So I have a few of the fabulous people who work for the Red Cross, and you are?
Lorraine Jacobs. I work with volunteers at the chapter.
And I'm Patsy Goska, the Disaster Program Manager for Santa Cruz County Chapter.
Craig Jenny, Disaster Service Chair for the Santa Cruz County.
Well, I want to tell you, these are amazing, amazing staff that we have here in Santa Cruz, and we could not do all these events and raise the money we do for the people in our community without their help and the support of all the volunteers that they help bring to us. We have some more staff people and fabulous volunteers, and you are?
I'm Zena Browning, and I help out in development, and I'm the operations manager at the chapter.
We couldn't do this without you.
No doubt.
And you are?
I'm Brett Taylor, and I work in health and safety, teaching CPR and first aid classes.
So be sure to take his classes. He's wonderful. Well, we're here in the VIP room, and I want to introduce to you our county supervisor, Zach Friend, and you're also on the board of directors of the Red Cross.
That's right. Local government can't do it all when it comes to things like local disasters, and we've had a lot here locally. And the recent Napa earthquake reminds us of the need of the Red Cross and the need for that kind of partnership. And so I feel very blessed to both be on the Board of Supervisors, but also on the board of the local Red Cross. Phil, what do you see as the media's role in these kinds of disasters and the things that the American Red Cross does, that kind of relationship? What do you see as your role in your day job in that kind of symbiotic relationship?
Well, getting the information out as quickly and as, with everything that's needed so that people know where and what to do, what is available, where they can go for help. During all these emergencies, I remember during the floods, and the Red Cross has been active in all these incidents that we've had here. It's just getting the information out as quickly as possible. And these days with social media,
right,
it's at your fingertips. But as you know, a lot of times things aren't working as they should.
That's
Emergency
right.
crews aren't getting out there because they're busy doing other things. Phone lines are down, so we try and get the information out as best we can so that people know what to do, where to go, what they can do to perhaps help themselves, since help may not be there immediately. Mm-hmm. So those are just some of the things that we try and do so that people can get through the disaster.
And we're here with Al DeCamera, who's a long-time Red Cross board member, as well as Mr. Community, from what I can gather. Why is it that you think that it's important to be a local member of the Red Cross board?
It is a government-mandated organization, and it is a humanitarian organization run by volunteers. It's absolutely amazing. This will be my 8th year on the board. I was past chair.
Wow.
And it's, to coin a phrase, it's the toughest job you'll ever love.
Well, and Pat, you guys really are, in many respects, local community icons, if I may say so. Can you tell us why it is that what do you think that the Red Cross plays in this community?
I saw the Red Cross in action in 1981, 82, when we had the big floods and the rain, downpours and mudslides in Santa Cruz. And the Red Cross is the first line of defense in that situation.
And I've always loved the Red Cross. I became acquainted with it when I was growing up in San Francisco. I was in high school, and the mother of my first boyfriend was very strong in San Francisco Red Cross, and she got me to go around collecting donations house to house,
right,
which I did. I carried the money home. I had about over $200 at one point. I hid it. And then I couldn't remember where I hid it.
There it is.
My mother was frantic.
So somewhere this $200 still exists? It's still somewhere.
I think we found it.
Well, tonight we'll be hitting you up for $200, and you still owe the Red Cross plus interest, in case you're wondering.
Plus interest.
This is what board members do. Yeah. Well, thank you for everything you guys do for the community. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate seeing you guys out tonight and for all that you do.
Two of our honorees are here is Cirillo
Good evening. Nice to be here and nice to be honored.
and Tom Honig.
Thank you. It's nice to be here, and I love being honored for something I did 25 years ago.
I know, and you're wonderful. And Louise?
Hi, I'm really happy to see Tom being honored and all the other honorees for that time.
Yeah, it's so exciting. It really is for all the work. And Erwin.
I'm Erwin Kaplan, and my claim to fame is to be with a very special person.
Yeah, it's so wonderful to have you all here this evening.
Thank you,
And
Joyce.
You're welcome. Well, we have here with us tonight our Deputy Police Chief, Rick Martinez, and his beautiful wife, Trish. Hello. Well, welcome. And Rick, tonight you're our MC, but you're also chair of our board of American Red Cross. So tell us how you feel about tonight.
Well, I'm excited. I'm excited that Secretary Leon Panetta is here. I'm really honored to be sharing the stage with him this evening. And I'm looking forward to greeting and welcoming the sold-out crowd tonight here at the Coconut Grove.
Isn't it amazing? And I would say that the auction items are probably one of the best we've ever had, so it's very exciting.
Well, you know which one she's bidding on.
No, what?
All the wine.
Oh, God.
Oh, not the ride-along, not the ride-along / tour of the city / romantic lunch with her husband. Not that one.
Okay. We're fortunate to have here Michael Tomini, who's our MC tonight, and his lovely friend Alexa. Welcome.
Thank you.
So, Michael, you are going to MC tonight, but you and Zach, I hear, are also doing a silent auction item about a dinner.
Yes, we have a dinner for 20 that we do every year together.
goodness.
We just held it last night at Bargetto Winery for the Deputy Chief of Police, Rick Martinez. The whole place loved the dinner. It's going to be a premier event. I'll have Rick do a little testimonial. Big fun, and this is my favorite event of the year. I'm honored to be an MC in the auctioneer.
I know.
And especially in my election year for City Council in Capitola.
I want to get that in. And also, being on the board of directors, you're going to be the
Yes.
board chair next year
Yes.
coming up, so I hope you'll have time for us.
I will.
So, one thing I want to bring to everybody's attention, your outfit this evening, and I love the shoes.
The shoes make the outfit, and they were your suggestion, and I have to thank you for that.
I know, and it's fabulous. We're going for Boardwalk Empire here.
Yes. I'll try not to beat anyone up or have anyone killed. It'll be very good.
No, it'll be perfect.
My name is Tom Honig. I was assistant managing editor of the Santa Cruz Sentinel when the earthquake hit, and that was just kind of a fancy title for night editor. We were putting the next day's newspaper out in the evening at 5:04 p.m. when the quake hit, and I remember standing in a doorway looking back around the newsroom, and I didn't see anyone. Everybody had disappeared, and I thought, how did they get out of the room so fast? And come to find out that they had all dived under their desk. I just couldn't see them. There were all these empty desks with a bunch of reporters and editors hiding underneath. About 5 seconds went by and everybody ran outside and went immediately to work. The most incredible thing about the newspaper coming out was the job of our circulation department, which made it possible for the new trucks to get back and forth to San Jose and distribute the newspapers. And one thing that I didn't realize at the time, and I certainly do now, is that in the aftermath of the earthquake, people were greeting our newspaper trucks, and it was evidence that the world was still working, that the newspapers were still coming out. We put out 3 days worth of papers with no advertising, 20-page editions, no advertising at great financial cost to the company. There wasn't even a thought as to whether they would do it or not. It was really a time for teamwork, and all our reporters were also dealing with the damage from the earthquake, many of them at their own home, and they had to put off the repairs for a while to get the news out to the community. And I found that a really inspiring example of our teamwork that we had. One of the proudest memories I have was my immediate boss, John Lindsay, put together an earthquake book that raised tens of thousands of dollars for the community. It was a time of the community really coming together in a variety of ways, and we played a small part in it along with the Red Cross and a lot of volunteers and just everyday people. So thank you very much for this honor. I'm accepting it on behalf of a whole lot of other people.
Hello, I'm Harvey Nicholson, the former CEO and president of Koss Commercial Bank back in 1989. I've been asked to talk where I was at the moment the earthquake struck at 5:04 on October 17th. And ironically, I had Jay Paul in my office, who was the owner of the Cooper House. And when the earthquake started, we looked at each other, and all I can remember is Jay Paul jumping up, walking to the window where we had a direct view of the Cooper House and looking at the hole in the ceiling of the Cooper House and said, "Harvey, I'll have to talk to you later." I participated in the formation of Vision Santa Cruz. As a matter of fact, I was co-chair with Marty Warmout. And through that process, over a eventual period of time, we saw a coming together of the community to develop the infrastructure and the rules and regulations for new building in the community. We discovered at that time and knew that there was a great amount of sentiment in the banking industry of not making commercial real estate loans. Our contribution was making loans to people without the necessary potential tenants already signed up. Today, I'm really proud to say that when I look around, I think the community has benefited from both the Vision Santa Cruz efforts as well in the beginning of our bank as well as other financial institutions who contributed to the development of the community. The earthquake brought a lot of personal devastation as well as physical devastation. The aftermath of the earthquake really showed the contribution that the American Red Cross took to contribute to the overall effort of helping individuals in a time of serious crisis.
Hi, my name is Jake Warmout, and I am the youngest of 4 of Marty Warmout's children. Marty Warmout was mayor for the city of Santa Cruz at the time of the Loma Prieta earthquake. In this particular picture, we can see that George Bush and Leon Panetta are up close, slightly towering over Marty as they tour through Santa Cruz. I think some of the major challenge for Marty at this time was how to remain calm and focused and effective during what was really a chaotic time for Santa Cruz, both in the immediate weeks and months that followed the earthquake, and also how to move forward and meet the needs of as many people as possible at a time when there was certainly a variety of opinions about what to do. I think what Marty was most proud of in terms of the rebuilding efforts of Santa Cruz would have been the speed at which people came together and actually made headway in getting Santa Cruz back on track. I think there was a tremendous urgency to keep business flowing during Christmas, and the whole sort of tent city, the recreation of the downtown stores that were able to move into the tents was a great initial accomplishment. And then, of course, the long-term, what we get to experience today as the Pacific Garden Mall. I think the rebuilding of Santa Cruz happened at a tremendously fast pace, and that's something that I think Marty and everybody who was involved in the process is really proud of. So I'd really like to thank the Red Cross for providing me the opportunity to accept this honor on my mother's behalf. Marty lost her life, unfortunately, 3 years ago, and I think is certainly deeply missed in this community. I certainly miss her, and thank you very much again for this opportunity.
My name is Oscar Rios. In 1989, I was a council member candidate running for the District 2. At that time of the earthquake, when it happened, I would say that the challenges that we had just coming in as a new council was to rebuild the whole town, because we had over 1,600 homes out of their foundations. We had thousands of people in different tents and all over Watsonville. That was a challenge. It was very chaotic, and one of the problems was that the language question. And the city had their own headquarters. We were trying to communicate with the city. It was very hard. And it was so difficult until we got the politicians involved in there. And here, again, is where Leon came in. Leon rolled his sleeves on his arms, came in, and I was so amazed about what he was able to do, and things started rolling. It was so ridiculous that at that point, we had here a headquarters of the Army right next door to us, and we couldn't even get tents for the people that were in the parks. Leon made it happen. At that time, I was a council member, and we had to postpone the elections. So it wasn't until a month later that we had the elections. And one of the proudest moments that I can say was that we did the biggest earthquake that happened also was the politics in Watsonville, because we were able to change the whole structure. And from there on, we had a whole town to rebuild. And I would have to say that was the biggest challenge, and that's what I feel so proud today. When I go and look at Watsonville, I can point out where things got destroyed and where we build it. And today, Watsonville is a town that is moving forward with a new faces and a whole group of new politicians that are really representing the people that live in Watsonville. The Red Cross was instrumental in helping us getting people from the parks to finally to the shelters and to the process that it took a while, but eventually they went back to their homes. And the thousands of people that participated, the people that made it happen, I think is what I would always remember, because we built a relationship. And at those moments is when you can really see the humanity of all of us coming together, because for one moment the politics stop and we make things happen. Priority to bring people alive together, because people were hurting at that moment. And that's what I feel the most proud, that I was one person that helped make that happen. Since 2004, I became a business agent for the local 890 Teamsters in Salina, that we represent over 7,000 workers all over the state.
Well, my name's Dick Wilson. It was my pleasure and honor to serve as the city's city manager for nearly 30 years, and my misfortune to be in that job after the earthquake. In a few seconds, our whole world changed completely. I mean, we'd been about the same thing for all of our working lives, and then we weren't about that anymore. We were about a whole new set of things. And so the fundamental challenge is, how do you figure out what to do? Politics as normal is everybody fighting to be priority number one. And after the earthquake, everybody recognized that only a few were number one, and everyone else had to wait for their turn. Sometimes days, sometimes weeks, months, even years. And everybody just accepted this new reality. So this larger sense of goodwill is what enabled those of us who were working in response to the event to meet with the success that we did. The city council, and Marty in particular, and the city staff got the big things right. We got hundreds of small and medium things wrong, but we got the big things right. And that was our major achievement. We met countless times every week for many months with Leon, and regularly thereafter in his offices in Washington and in Santa Cruz. And I guess I would say this: I don't tell stories about former police chiefs, much less about former CIA directors. I feel this sense of gratitude to, the Red Cross in particular, but also a host of others. And it all comes back to that larger sense of goodwill, that same sense of identification as a Santa Cruzan that we saw with thousands of people along the processional to Butch and Elizabeth's services. And so the satisfaction that I retain is about being a part of Santa Cruz.
I'm Cirillo, and I was hired by Dick Wilson, city manager, to come to Santa Cruz to facilitate the rebuilding of the downtown. There were several challenges that we were faced with during that early rebuilding process, and there was the visioning, and the city council created Vision Santa Cruz, which really worked hard to bring a vision together that was accepted by the community. There were several housing units that were affected by the earthquake, and that was a challenge to find the resources to rebuild. And that's really where the American Red Cross stepped in. And 3 of the rebuilt housing developments downtown were funded by some funds that the American Red Cross provided to the city of Santa Cruz. There were resources that the city didn't have. It activated its redevelopment agency, and the federal and state state governments provided many grants to us, and a great thank you to Leon Panetta and his role in finding those resources, as well as the voters who approved a tax measure. There was the lending environment at that time that was pretty bad, and there was the experience or lack thereof by the property owners who were more property managers than they were developers, with the exception of Barry Swenson Builders and Jay Paul, who had the experience and came to the forefront. Later on, the Al family played a key role. So one of the key players in the early days of the rebuilding was John Leisher, who was the executive director of the Chamber of Commerce at that time. And he played a significant role in getting the pavilions, which housed the displaced merchants, into the pavilions and managing the finances of that, as well as bringing resources over from Silicon Valley, where he had contacts and played a key role on the San Jose Redevelopment Agency in its early days. There were those who thought that I would never make Santa Cruz my permanent home after I got here. They thought I wouldn't last very long, but let me tell you, Santa Cruz is my home, and I'm very proud to be a member of this community and to visit the downtown. I'm still very proud of the rebuilt downtown and what I see there.
Hello, my name is Gary Smith. On October 17th of 1989, I was the fire chief and the emergency services director for the city of Watsonville. During the emergency response, I worked with the city's response team, and we managed to work through the fires and the rubble and all the challenges of the emergency event, and then transition into the real challenge of this disaster, and that was the recovery. So out of the tragedy came opportunities, and we took advantage of them, mainly because we had the support of some great leadership. And on top of that list is Leon Panetta. Leon was there, and he sat through the many meetings, and I remember in one in specific, we were getting really hammered by some community members about the slowness of recovery. I came to Leon and I said, Leon, you know, you're hearing stuff here that's not totally correct. And he says, never mind. He says, hold on. He says, I know. He says, but believe me, we'll do the right thing. And in that vision that he had was supporting the bigger picture. Things like El Pajaro CDC and the rebuilding of the community with Cirillo College and all the infrastructure work that we had to do with upgrading our sewage and water system. Leon was there to help put it together. So thank you, Leon. You did a great job. Many times, you know, leadership is paradoxical. You can do the right thing and you don't really ever get recognized for it. Well, here's 25 years later, and we're here to recognize the fact that your leadership was the reason why we were able to rebuild as well as we did. Thank you for that.
The Red Cross, from the time of Clara Barton to the present, has been an organization that has really provided relief and support for people in disasters and in need, whether it's here, whether it's across the country, whether it's across the world. The Santa Cruz chapter in particular, something that I'm very familiar with, has done a great job in reflecting the important values of the Red Cross. And I experienced that, and many of you experienced it, during the Loma Prieta earthquake. It was truly a shocking event, and the biggest earthquake on the San Andreas Fault since 1906. And then came the effort to provide relief and be able to try to provide some help to the victims. And the Red Cross was really at the forefront of that, setting up centers and help centers to try to do what it could to search out the victims. I mean, we were still looking for victims. Ford's department store in Watsonville, we're still looking for victims in the Santa Cruz coffee roasting company that was devastated here in this town. We were looking for trying to help people in need. We had something like 51 aftershocks in 24 hours after that earthquake, in excess of 3.0 that impacted. All of that just created even greater damage. We were able, as most of you remember, to get President Bush to come out and visit Santa Cruz, and he had a chance to see this firsthand. We were able to put together legislation to provide relief, $1.1 billion in relief, earthquake relief for this area. Those were the days when Congress could do those things quickly and get it done. And he signed that. And the Red Cross itself raised almost $52.5 million in relief for the earthquake. And then it came the rebuilding effort, and that is the toughest. You know, what we immediately ran into was the bureaucracy of a number of different agencies that all had different jurisdictions, that were all stovepiped and doing their own thing. And it was at that point that, working with the communities here in Santa Cruz, a lot of the people that are being honored tonight were part of that. But here in Hollister, one of the things we did was we immediately put all of the agencies in one room. And it became a model, I have to say, for FEMA. FEMA said what was put together here really represented an important model of how you coordinate between the various agencies. I can remember saying to FEMA, look, we've got to get these people out of these tents. And I knew that they had trailers located somewhere down south in Florida. I said, you know, let's get those trailers here. And they said, well, the trailers are supposed to respond to an immediate disaster. I said, we have a goddamn disaster right here. And we need those trailers here. And as a result of pushing them hard, they managed to move those trailers here, and it provided shelter for those families. Something that couldn't have been done without the support of the community and without the support of the Red Cross. So all of that is what you honor this evening in honoring me. It's everybody that came together. But the one thing that gives me hope is that the real strength of this country really doesn't lie in Washington. It lies in the spirit and resilience and common sense and willingness to fight in the American people. That's our truth. The most important place I see those values is in the Red Cross and the great work that the Red Cross does, because it reflects those values of dedication, of commitment, of caring, of working with each other to try to help each other when we're in need. And as long as those values are there, then I know America will be okay. That we'll be able to make sure that our kids can live the American dream of a better life, but more importantly, that America can always have a government of, by, and for all people. Thank you very much for your time.